My brother proposed to his girlfriend at our mother's funeral because he wanted to seize the moment, but their plans completely backfired after their viral video. My brother Dennis proposed to his girlfriend Valerie at our mother's funeral, not after the service, not at the reception, right there during the eulogy, while our aunt was talking about mom's battle with cancer. He actually got down on one knee next to the casket. The funeral home was packed. Mom had taught elementary school for 30 years, so there were maybe 200 people there. Former students, other teachers, dad's construction crew, all our relatives from both sides. Everyone was already crying, and then Dennis stood up from the front row. At first, I thought he was going to say something about mom. He'd been her favorite, the baby of the family who could do no wrong. Instead, he turned to Valerie and pulled out this massive diamond ring. "Life is short," he announced to the entire room. Mom would want me to seize the moment. Our dad literally walked out, just stood up and left his own wife's funeral. My sister Janet screamed, "Are you fucking serious?" which echoed through the whole funeral home. The funeral director had to stop the service. Mom's sister fainted and hit her head on a pew. Valerie said yes, by the way. She said yes while standing 3 feet from my mother's body. The reception was supposed to be at mom's house, but half the family refused to go. I went because dad needed someone there, and I found him in the garage staring at mom's gardening tools. His hands were shaking as he held her favorite trowel. "Your mother changed her will 2 weeks ago," he said quietly. Didn't tell Dennis. Mom had been planning to leave Dennis the house. He'd been living in the basement for 5 years, supposedly saving money but really just gaming all day while Valerie paid for everything. Mom always made excuses for him. But 2 weeks before she died, something changed. Dennis found out about the will that night when dad's lawyer called. Mom left the house to a scholarship fund for underprivileged kids at her school. Dennis got her collection of garden gnomes and nothing else. The note in the will said, "For Dennis, who always thought life was a game." He went ballistic, threw mom's urn across the living room, actually threw our mother's ashes. Valerie just stood there filming it on her phone, saying they'd sue for elder abuse, saying mom wasn't in her right mind from the chemo. That's when Janet pulled out her phone. "Want to see something interesting?" 3 months ago, mom had installed security cameras after some break-ins in the neighborhood. The footage showed Dennis and Valerie in mom's room while she was at chemotherapy. They were going through her jewelry, Valerie trying on mom's wedding ring, Dennis pocketing dad's watch collection. The timestamp was 2 hours after they'd supposedly been at work, but the real footage was from the week before mom died. Dennis is telling Valerie that proposing at the funeral would make great content for her lifestyle blog. They'd practiced proposing next to where they knew the casket would be. Valerie had already written the blog post titled, "Love Conquers Death, How I Said Yes to Forever." "We needed something to go viral," Valerie said when confronted. "Do you know how hard it is to monetize a blog these days? Dad called the police right there. Turns out taking things from a dying person without permission is still theft, even if you're family." Dennis and Valerie were arrested at mom's reception, in front of all the elementary school teachers who'd come to pay their respects. The proposal video did go viral, just not how they planned. Someone's cousin posted it with the caption, "Trash humans destroy funeral for clout." Last I checked, it had 3 million views, and Valerie had lost her job as a social media manager. Dennis called me from jail that night, not to apologize, to ask if I could lend him bail money and promise he'd pay me back from his inheritance. When I told him about the garden gnomes, he hung up. The thing that haunts me is what the hospice nurse told us later. The morning mom died, she'd asked about Dennis, asked if he was happy, if he'd found his way. The nurse said mom seemed peaceful when she said, "Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is letting them show you who they really are." Dennis and Valerie got married last month at the courthouse. 7 people attended. He wore the same suit he wore to mom's funeral. They sent dad an invoice for half the ring since mom would have wanted to contribute. He says it makes him laugh now, which is probably what mom would have wanted anyway.